all the respected colleagues, HODs and deans, directors from Pondicherry University, all the delegates who have come from different colleges, schools, institutes like DIET from the southern region, teachers who have come from schools, faculty, School of Education, faculty from affiliated colleges of Pondicherry University, and my students. A very warm good morning to all of you. National Institute of Planning and Educational Planning and Administration, NEPA, New Delhi, and School of Education, Pondicherry University is jointly organizing this regional workshop on NEP 2020 for transforming teacher education in this nation through NEP 2020. We are extremely happy to announce this and to welcome all of you here. Now, NEP 2020, I would use this opportunity to just briefly talk about our journey of NEP, very briefly, of NEP 2020 in Pondicherry University. We have had our own hiccups and difficulties of implementing NEP 2020, but Pondicherry University has, to a greater extent, effectively implemented NEP 2020 in university departments and also through number of affiliated colleges under Pondicherry University. Now, a bit very brief about the NEP 2020. When you look at the structure of NEP 2020 that we talk about, everyone talks about multiple entry-exit and the 4-year duration of the courses. But apart from that, this entire course structure has so many other relevances. I'm not a very good admirer of entry-exit options, though it is very good for the students who actually leave for a positive reason. This might also lead into students leaving because there is an opportunity to leave after 1 year, 2 years, they might leave. But then document very clearly says it is a duty of the teachers and the institutions to retain the students by improving the quality and also by motivating students to complete a course when they join. This is there in the NEP document. Whenever we talk about entry-exit options, we talk to the teachers. When we train the teachers on NEP 2020, we always say entry-exit is not a misuse. It is only when there is no way they can exit. And also, one major problem that we face with the system of education in this nation is we are so strong in general education, methodologies and theoretical studies. We are very strong. We have the best of mathematicians, best of physical sciences, best of chemists. We have everything, but then when we try to turn that into vocational education, we normally fail. We do not know how to give jobs to our students. And then needless to talk about the experiential learning. So this is actually the catchword of NEP. This movement from general education to vocational education to experiential learning. So if you look very closely to this NEP 2020 structure, which we have also worked out for our own model of NEP 2020 for Pondicherry University, very clearly this has been done. There are major minor courses and then very connected SECs, skill enhancement courses, connected with the major and minor courses, and then slowly, gradually, they move on to the actual work world. They go for internship, which is connected with the major and minor. This should happen. This is actually the structure. This is what I understand working on this. And then there is another peculiar feature apart from this 4-year structure, which actually is very good because there is a direct entry to PhD from 4-year integrated courses. Students are very happy about this. If they have 7.5 cutoff, they will have an opportunity to do research. Apart from this, if we look at this course, mandatorily, certain courses are very mandatory. And this again depends upon the spirit of implementation of NEP courses. There are multi-disciplinary courses. There are courses like Understanding India, MIL, Modern Indian Languages, certain other courses like Community Engagement, which everybody has to do. Previously, it was not compulsory. So this is also a problem of implementation. We had several problems, but Pondicherry University, time to time, has come into the help of colleges and teachers, and we were flexible enough to change some courses, but without losing the heart of NEP 2020. we assure that we are going to have focused deliberations on this because we have several institutes and NEPA itself is with us. We will make focused deliberations on these different types of ITEP models. Now, ITEP is Integrated Teacher Education Program. We have started the programs in the university. NEP implementation we have done as early as 23-24. And one of the first is ITEP, BSc Ed and the BEd program. This also maybe very quickly I should tell you, our model is a little different. When we were students in RI Mysore, it was very compulsory for all of us to read all education reports page by page. Teachers will come to the class and ask, what is written on the page number 5? So Kothari Commission report, we all have read it. And we also read this, all the Education Commission reports, all of us do that. There is a very, I went back to read again after this NEP 2020 to see how much of connection from 60s and now, after 50, 60 years crossed. There is a very passing remark, J.P. Naik sir, stalwart educationist, Indian Institute of Pune. I had a colleague who was a direct student of him when I started job. He writes very passingly, probably it is a mention to RIEs which started ITEP programs as early as 60s, very senior professors. We have an alumnus from RI Mysore here. They have started this. So there is a remark on ITEP programs, integrated programs, and it asks to look at those programs as an experiment. It has a lot of meaning right now. Probably those days I've never understood. Most of the things in the Education Commission as a student I did not understand. I just read or mugged up. Now I understand that sentence has a lot of meaning and it has relevance. I think we all should go back to Kothari Commission report and see again what is written about ITEP. So we have it is very difficult for us without the support of the university administration. Director Studies, who is Vice Chancellor now, and the Registrar. It was not at all possible for us. They were very supportive. It was so difficult, especially for us. So we have evolved with a model of ITP, ITEP, which is composite. This is the heart of NEP is this. There would be composite units now onwards, multidisciplinary composite units in all colleges and universities, and teacher education will go inside it. This is how it is conceived. We have done it, and then it would be difficult for teacher educators to run it. So the meaning of teacher education coming into the universities is to have pure disciplines, exploit the opportunities of pure disciplines from the university. We are working with 6 other departments, Department of Physics, HOD sir is here, Department of Mathematics, Madam is here, Dean, Department of Chemistry, Department of Economics, Department of History, and Department of English. We work in collaboration. We work very closely with them, with complete support from them. So this is the model we have taken. We do face, they also face difficulties. We face difficulties because it is still in a tryout period. We are going to discuss this. We still have several doubts. We will be discussing this. This was I just wanted to talk about NEP. We assure that we are going to have a good academic experience during the deliberations with the help of NEPA. As a student in NCERT, I have always looked up to this institute who always maintained quality of education. I always wondered why are they so close to NCERT like this, and I never got an answer. But whenever I go there, as a student, I would always look at this institute, and I also would enter the institute and try to interact with the teachers there. We are so happy that they have come ahead to collaborate with the School of Education. Now it is my duty to welcome the dignitaries to the program. I'm so happy to welcome Professor K.K. Saju, Vice Chancellor of Kannur University, to the regional workshop. We welcome you, sir, heartily to Pondicherry University. And also to Pondicherry. We are so happy that you are here with a very short notice. He is a reputed academician with his background in mechanical engineering. We already had a talk with him to initiate an MOU on startups. So with a brief talk with him, what we have understood is he has got this vision and pioneering experiences of this thing what we talk about in NEP 2020, there's startups and innovations and vocationalizing general education. Universities have this problem, sir. Institutes probably do not have. University, we have this problem. We are so good at our subjects, but when it comes to vocational education, we are struggling with this in NEP also. How to convert that into skills, we are still struggling, but then I think Kannur University will help us. We are trying to have an MOU with them. Sir, we, on behalf of NEPA and School of Education and Pondicherry University, behalf of all the faculty members, we welcome you here. In the absence of Vice Chancellor of Pondicherry University, Professor Tharanikarasa, who is from the Chemistry, Professor of Chemistry Department, on behalf of NEPA and School of Education, I welcome him. He had a earlier commitment and he's preoccupied, he couldn't come. And when he's free, he would join us. We would also welcome him to this program. He has been so supportive. And since he is also a faculty and director of studies, we always had this opportunity of grabbing all the opportunities of getting all kinds of supports from him. And we welcome him. Now we have the registrar of Pondicherry University with us, our beloved Professor Rajneesh Bhutani, who's a very well-reputed scientist. And we faculty are so happy that administrative procedures are normally difficult for us. When we go to administration, things are difficult everywhere. In every university, it is like that. But then since the registrar is there, we make a direct contact with him. Things become very easy, and he is a faculty, so he understands our problems of being ordinary teachers and trying to be administrators. He's so simple, but at the same time very assertive. Sir, we welcome you to the workshop. Now, we are also very happy to welcome two other colleagues from NEPA, Dr. Amit Gautam, Associate Professor, Dr. A.N. Reddy, Assistant Professor from NEPA. You're welcome here, sir. Now, it's time to welcome the delegates, all the delegates from the colleges, institutes, diets, HODs and deans of central universities and state universities. I think some are still to come. We welcome all of you to this program. I know that it was a very last-minute invitation to you, and still you found time to contribute to NEP 2020 to make, it's a completely academic event. We will be making focused deliberations on different themes. We are very happy that you are here with us, and we welcome you to Pondicherry University. Now, we also have delegates from the affiliated colleges. They are always with us, very supportive. The principals and faculty are with us. We welcome all of you to this workshop. Please make use of this workshop because I know you all have problems with NEP. We are actually struggling at different places. This is a place, 2 days, we would say, take it very seriously. The doubts that you are asking us, you could also ask NEPA because most things come from there. And they would also be able to tell you a lot of things on NCT and NCERT, which we also struggle with several things. So this is an opportunity for us to deliberate upon. We welcome all of you here. And I'm so happy to welcome the faculty of School of Education, former deans, Professor Mumtaz Begum, former Dean Professor K. Chellamani, Professor M. Balamurugan, Dr. Vijay Kumar, Dr. Bukya, you're welcome to this program. And I'm also very happy to welcome all the guest faculty here. Dr. Anbu, Dr. Geeta, Dr. Rupa, Dr. Vadivel, Dr. Seitung Mang Goite. We welcome all of you here, and Dr. Shalini of English Department. We welcome you here. And I welcome all the PhD scholars, MEd students, and ITEP students to the program. You should also make use of this. So you're happy only when I welcome you. Okay, so we are so happy that you're here. And university administration, it is not, we are not able to move without them. All the SOs, ARs and DRs, we welcome them here. They will join whenever they are free. They won't be able to sit here from morning till evening. Electrical section, media and communication, the guest house, we welcome all of you here. And we assure you that we are going to give you a very good academic atmosphere in both these days. And thank you.
overview of the regional consultative meet, I am pleased to invite Professor Pranati Panda, Department of School and Non-Formal Education, NEPA, New Delhi, for the introductory address. She will provide us with a deeper understanding of the purpose and significance of this workshop.
Ma'am, please.
Very good morning to all of you. I join Professor Srikala welcoming you to this regional consultative workshop on transforming teacher education, linking it to the NEP 2020. Respected K.K. Kaju, Vice Chancellor, Kannur University, Kerala. Then Dr. Rajneesh Bhutani, Registered IC, Pondicherry University, Puducherry. Professor Madhumita Bandopadhyay, Professor and Head, Department of School and Non-Formal Education. Professor Dr. Amit Gautam, Program Coordinator, Department of School and Non-Formal Education, NEPA. Dr. A.N. Reddy, Department of School and Non-Formal Education, NEPA, as well as all the dignitaries here. It's indeed my pleasure to welcome all of you, and sir, just to mention with you, they are the very senior professors, they are the head and Dean of School of Education, Department of Education, Deputy Director and Principal of different institutions. NEPA has been organizing consultative meet on teacher education for the last 5 years consecutively to focus on how to transform teacher education sector. At national level, we provide the platform. Professor Chilamani, Professor Mumtaz Begum, all of them have already participated at the national level. This year, we decided to have the regional consultative workshop because each region has a different narratives to share on teacher education. Southern region has got different narratives of teacher education. Possibly everyone has to understand that. Southern narrative is different from that of northern, northeastern and other region as well. Just to share with you that NEPA is actively engaged not only in policy formulation but also the developing strategic planning as well as effective implementation in diverse sectors of education, including teacher education. We provide the platform to generate new knowledge, new ideas. We may agree, we may disagree, that's why we call it consultative workshop. Voices of all of us would build a better future for us, and teacher education sector necessitates that. Our silence won't transform teacher education because there is huge pressure from NEP 2020 to act upon. There are two perspectives I want to add here. The changing nature, changing identity of Indian teachers and teacher education. We need to focus. What we are understanding that over the years teacher identity is changing, be it school education sector, be it technical education, professional education, higher education, teachers' identity and their motivations are questioned in the NEP 2020. And there is huge focus to restore the teaching profession. There is also huge pressure to bring accountability and autonomy amongst the teacher. So friends, professionalizing teaching profession across the different levels of school education sector is the prime focus of the NEP 2020. Within that perspective, the power of teacher education should be given huge emphasis. We have long trajectory to transform teacher education. We have 3 national policies in our hand. We have more than 60 to 70 commission and committees who have recommended to change teacher education. But after 75 years of independence, somehow we are between happy and unhappy zone. And I can call it, we are at the crossroad. I was just analyzing the policy pronouncement of 3 policy, commonality, and what Srikala was mentioning, 68 policy is absolutely based on the Education Commission report. So these 3 policies, the commonality and differences. The essence of 3 policies remains the same after 75 years of independence. The language might be different. So one thing, these 3 policies are focusing the changing role of the teachers at all levels. Changing the identity of the Indian teachers at all levels, including school education sector. Therefore, they have given huge emphasis that teacher education should transform, teacher education should prepare the quality teachers. Last 5 consultative meet what we had organized, giving us lot of pathways of transformation. The voices of the teacher educator, voices of the school dean, dean of school of education, voices of the heads of the department are really seeking for some kind of transformative agenda. Even the vice chancellor, they are also perturbed with so many changes, quick changes one after another. I always raise the question whether the teacher education sector is prepared for this. I'm just remembering, because I'm here at Pondicherry. In my childhood, we used to have prayer for Mother and Aurobindo. That time when I was in class 4th and 5th, that time there was a slogan, world is preparing for a big change, will you help? The question she has kept it open. The same question I'm raising here for the teacher education. Teacher education is preparing for change, will you help? So how we together can bring change, develop some kind of qualitative perspective and a sustainable transformative agenda which would really prepare the quality teachers for our country. Just to share with you some of my concept note is a very detailed one. I always believe on preparing a detailed concept note which would help us in very critical deliberation. If I'm just reading it out few lines which are very, very critical here. Reiterating the centrality of teachers, National Education Policy 2020 envisions to raise the standards of teaching profession. It emphasizes on life cycle approach to teaching profession, from teacher preparation to management to continuous professional development and career progression. This theoretical perspective, I would tell, I have developed that concept, taking the ideas from NEP, that life cycle approach. We need to look at, if we want to change teaching profession, we need to look at it in a continuum framework. NEP policy, 86 policy had also focused on teacher education as a continuum, both pre-service, in-service, but NEP 2020 is focusing on effective teacher preparation, entry to teaching profession, that bringing right teacher to the system. and continuous professional support to the teachers along with the career progression. We do have systematic career progression at higher education, but school teachers are lagging behind, and also they need to continue as a lifelong learner throughout the teaching profession. That's why we call it as the life cycle approach. So our deliberation would focus on this aspect. And the second question, what I have raised it here, is the very how teacher education should respond to the changing nature of school education and changing nature of higher education. That teacher education is expected to cope with the changing demand of school, changing demand of higher education. That's why under NEP 2020, 3 places you could find about teachers, teacher education, and faculty of higher education, given huge importance. So teacher education should always be responding to other changes, or it should have its own agenda of transformation to prepare effective teacher. There are many questions, nothing to critique, but our focus should be on the developmental perspective. And second question, teacher education is witnessing the changing paradigms in the pre-service teacher education. The duration 1, 2, 4, or we want to create a very longer duration of teacher preparation. And now we have already introduced integrated teacher education program in the 64 institution university. And second concern is the location of the teacher education. Should all this teacher education program be within the ambit of university, higher education sector, and also pushing the higher education sector to take the responsibility for transforming teacher education. It's from elementary to secondary to all levels. So the context and condition for preparing teachers is a major question. We know we have diversified teacher education institutions. We have teacher education department within the central university, state university, private university, deemed to be university. We have the affiliated teacher education institutions. And our data shows that 80% of the teacher education institutions are offering single courses. How can you look at the sustainability of the institution department who are offering only B.Ed courses? They need to offer multiple courses, which we would be discussing. The southern region might be different from the national perspective. There are 15 types of teacher education courses, from pre-primary, elementary, secondary, and all that. All these programs are preparing per year 18 lakhs 0.5 teachers annually. And therefore, many a time we focus on the demand and supply of the teacher in the Indian context. And further, when we look at the entire narratives of teacher education or landscape of teacher education or ecosystem of teacher education, possibly we are under the private hold. 92 to 94%, it's increasing every year. So more than 90% I can say are under private, 10 are under government managed, be it within university or independent, so on and so forth, right? And further landscape communicates to us that there are few states like Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal have half the share of teacher education institutions. As per performance appraisal report, APAR, all of you must be knowing, 498 institutions are planning to introduce integrated teacher education courses, but affiliation till date is given to 64. And the major thematic areas which we would be focusing here for this 2 days regional consultative meet. Number one, because all of us are managing, because we are at NEPA, we look at the governance, regulation, management, not only of teacher education, higher and school education also, because that is very intricately linked to the quality of the level of education. So first we will be discussing here the management of pre-service teacher education program, that is the institutional arrangement. We'll look at the duration, entry, exit, what Srikala was mentioning, and we have listed out all the recommendation of NEP 2020 if you look at the background note. Second point, we need to look at the knowledge, curriculum and pedagogical management. Whether you make it 1 year, 2 year, 4 year, what kind of knowledge contouring we have been doing, or we are reducing and enlarging depending on the course duration. We would also focus on that, and we would also discuss about the integration of technology when we would be deliberating on the curriculum management for the pre-service teacher education, both for the secondary as well as for the postgraduate level. Second point which NEPA specializes, that is governance and regulation of teacher education. So as per my research, we could see the major concern of regulation is that not NCT, but it is the multi-layer governance level and the decision making. We would be discussing about that and what kind of leadership role each university department institution should play to transform major recommendation of NEP 2020. Further, when we focus, would be focusing the critical role of the university department and school of education. They are not only governed by NCTE, they have been equally raised question by university administration governance and facing multiple challenges and how they need to play the very critical role, and who are the teacher educators in India who would be managing the teacher education sector, because changing profiling of teacher educator we need to bring at. Quality is continuing as a very focused word in the arena of teacher education. Therefore, friends, we need to have standards and benchmarking in teacher education, which there is a published document which I have done. I can share with you the link which you can look at. India is absolutely silent about preparing standards and benchmarking for teacher education. Last, friends, we require your support, we require your voices, we require your knowledge to build the changing agenda, the transformative agenda for teacher education. Collective voices would work from the developmental perspective. Thank you everybody, but the point which I have flagged here would be deliberating in much more detail in our different session, and I must say thanks to the Pondicherry University Registrar and Vice Chancellor agreeing to organize this program. I just want to share with you, I was negotiating with 3 universities, sir. Kerala, Kasurgad Central University, Puducherry University. So my special thanks to Srikala, who was very proactive to come forward immediately, and we have to ignore other two universities because they were delaying the whole progress. And I must thank to Professor Chilamani, Mumtaz Begum, because they were my contacts. So I telephoned them and also requested how we can collaboratively organize. And this month we know, though we had sent invitation to many institutions, but quite good number of them are busy with Board of Studies, Academic Council, or so on and so forth. And you know that the skeletal faculty in the Department of Education, so they were not sparing faculty. Howsoever, we have many senior faculty member, and we would be working in close to bring out a recommended document which we can share with the government as well as with the NCT. Thank you everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for that insightful introduction. Now, I invite our esteemed registrar, Professor Rajneesh Bhutani, to deliver the presidential address. Sir, please.
Thank you, Ms. Vijeta and Diksha. In fact, I was thinking that I will have benefit of listening Professor Saju as per the program, so that I could also formulate what should I. But thank you very much for inviting me to this particular program. And let me start by congratulating the School of Education, Pondicherry University, for having organized this wonderful workshop, consultative workshop, that makes even it more important. It is not like a normal conference where we speak and then forget what is happening. And I was very excited when I was listening to Professor Pranati Panda that this consultative workshop also aims to prepare a policy document, a recommendation which could be forwarded to the Government of India. So in that way, I feel very honored, privileged that I am today present in this inauguration of this consultative workshop on implementation for transforming teachers' education. So thank you very much for organizing this. I also, on behalf of university, thank NEPA wholeheartedly that they have decided finally to come to our university for organizing this particular workshop. Now, when I read this implementation of NEP 2020 for transforming teacher education, of course, every word is very important in this theme, but which catches my eye immediately is the word implementation. And that reminds me a very popular quote by Baba Sahib Ambedkar, which in fact he said in the Constituent Assemblies when finally the Constitution of India was being dedicated and finalized. That time he made this remark. I am not able to recollect exact word, but I am paraphrasing the quote. And he says, no matter how good a policy document is, if it is not implemented, it is of no use. And no matter how worse a policy document is, if it is implemented better on ground, it will serve its purpose. So in that way, in that context, if you look at the NEP 2020 document, of course, it reads wonderful. I mean, it has covered almost all the aspects that people have been debating for so many years in India and also everywhere in the world. How do we transform the education to prepare the responsible world global citizens which are ready to take up any challenge that is thrown on their way. So in that way, if you look at, they have ticked up all the boxes, check marks which are required to prepare, and I'm using another keyword which Professor Pranati Panda has mentioned, the lifelong learners. In that way, you see, they have divided, they have come out of the NEP 2020 has come out of the rigid domain boundary structure and the narrowly focused education on the selected domains, where a person, once he chooses to be, let us say, a science student, physics student, or a humanities student, then he did not have much scope to venture and explore his own interest in other subjects. But now the NEP has gone a step forward to introduce several multidisciplinary courses, ability enhancement courses, skill enhancement courses, and the idea here is that every student should have opportunity to explore the latent or the inherent interest and potentialities to other subjects, and if possible, he would be allowed to venture into the different disciplines other than his core domain structure. So in that way, it is a wonderful document. But again, the crux of this success of this document comes to the implementation. And when I think, because I am not as such hardcore educationist, if you call me from the teacher's education perspective, but being teacher for more than 2 decades, I understand that ultimate implementation responsibility lies on the teachers. Ultimate, foot soldiers of this entire policy documents are the teachers. And how well they implement this particular spirit of the NEP 2020 in their classroom will decide how best or how far we could achieve the objectives stated in the NEP 2020 document. So when it comes to the implementation in the classroom, when it comes to the implementation of the entire spirit of the NEP 2020, to the lowest most level, that is the student, every individual student, then what are the challenges? And when we speak of challenges, I think one thing which is very apparent, and again she was using this word, that the biggest challenge today, not only in front of teachers, but I would say in front of every sector, whether knowledge sector or work sector, is the fast-paced changes that the world is undergoing. Now, change is, of course, has been always there. People say change is the only constant. That is there. But today's world is defined by unprecedentedly fast-paced changes. I mean, I don't think humanity has ever faced any time where changes are so fast. Every day new technologies are coming, every day new ideas are coming, every day new behavioral aspects are emerging out which people have never thought of. And particularly, when I speak these fast-paced changes, I'm sure everybody's minds goes to the AI. And once you see everything from the prism or the perspective of AI, then you also must have heard, being the stakeholders in the teachers' education, I'm sure everybody would have heard here that many people are little skeptic that probably the role of teachers also may not be so relevant when AI is taking care of everything. Now it is not only that information is available instantly on your fingertips in your mobile, but also there are AI specific agents. There are AI tools which would prepare any presentation instantly. Not only that, they would even explain things. If you talk to Gemini, and he would or she would explain you everything, like as though you are listening to a teacher. Then people think that what is the role of a teacher now? I mean, in this fast-paced changing world. And I also sometimes wonder that if suppose somebody asked me to define today's challenge or today's word in the briefest possible manner, and then define the challenge in front of teachers, I would say one word that defines the word today is unpredictability. We know changes are fast. At the same time, we never know, and nobody would be able to predict what is going to come tomorrow. So we are living today in an unpredictable world. And then challenge becomes clear. We are supposed to prepare our students for this unpredictable world. How do we do that? When you think from that perspective, then the thing which emerges out is that transferring the information is no longer at all an objective of a teacher now. Information is there from the AI. Domain, concept explanation, pedagogical, all kinds of experiments where person will go out of your classroom being very clear in the core domain concepts also probably is no longer a major objective of a teacher. Major objective, as I said, is to prepare the student for the unpredictable world. Tomorrow he goes out learning everything very good from the curriculum, but those curriculum could be obsolete even next month after passing out. Then how do we prepare that? And again, when you think of that, we are going back to the fundamental most of the teacher's education technology or the concepts which Madam also mentioned, that you have to prepare your students for lifelong learning. That means the student, once he or she goes out of your class, she is not only prepared but excited, enthusiastic to learn, and should be able to learn whatever new things come out. So what kind of skills we should be able to impart to the students so that student is a very good learner. He becomes a very good learner. And when I think from a teacher's perspective that what are the skills or one skill that would help a student to become a learner,
one thing which comes to my mind immediately is the thinking skills, and particularly the critical thinking skills, the skills of analysis. And you probably be able to appreciate that critical thinking skills, it is very easy to say this, but how do we actually inculcate that in our students? And that too being within the curriculum defined by somebody who has stated the syllabus that this is what you are supposed to go and teach in the classroom. So a teacher is always mindful that, okay, no matter what word I am leaving is, still I have been given a particular syllabus, I have to complete this in the classroom, given in the semester time, 2 months, 3 months. But my student should not be limited because I failed as a teacher to inculcate the critical thinking skills. So through your domain knowledge, through your daily classroom interactions, can you do something to provoke the students, to make the student ask questions which are probably outside the curriculum, which are probably more challenging to you, and also keep in mind that students is not interested in your information because he already has through the AI everything, whatever is required from that subject. So what should we do to inculcate the critical thinking skills of analysis to our student? I think this kind of consultative workshop would go a long way in deliberation on these kind of points. And I'm sure the question which are raised by Professor Panda to lay or to kind of give the roadmap for the next 2 days deliberation also would touch upon some of these core subjects which are required as an individual teachers when they go and enter and interact with the students. And that is where I also feel once this kind of interactions where teachers' objective is to actually provoke the students to make them think critically, that is where they will have one upper hand on the AI. That is where they would be able to justify their role as a teachers beyond the AI. That is where they will never let AI replace a real human teacher. And this is what I think every teacher should strive for, that we have to have an upper hand on the AI so that, if suppose for some reason, some problem, if policymakers decide, okay, we are cutting out of some of the job of teachers because we are replacing them with some kind of prepared or the on-the-spot interaction with the AI, people will realize they will start missing the real human teachers. So this is why I feel very excited being a teacher, participating in this inaugural function, particularly when I see the stalwarts from NEPA, the people who are actually actively, as Professor Shikala said, they are not only in the policy making, they are also actually involved at ground level in field. She used the word in field of education. So I feel very honored being here today on behalf of Pondicherry University. So I must, at this stage, I must also thank again Madam Professor Panda and Professor Bandyopadhyay for organizing this. And I am very, very honored that I am sitting next to Professor Saju, a very renowned academician, a very well-known professor of mechanical engineering, and now the helm of the affairs at Kannur University, very proactive person. So thank you, Professor Saju, for having come here and accepting our invitation. I also, on behalf of the university, extend my wholehearted welcome to all the participants, particularly those who have come from the outside Pondicherry University, very senior faculty people. I just met one ma'am from Shastra University, other professors are there. The Dean, Professor Sheshadri, Professor Chelamani, Professor Mumtaz Begum, Sharmila ma'am, so many Professor Alok Kumar is there, Alok Sharan is there from physics, Professor Shetty, I'm very happy to see him, Professor Arvind Gupta, the Director Distance Education, Professor Praveen. So I feel so excited because this is one workshop which has very clear objective, which is, I would say, very utmost importance to any academic institution. And for Pondicherry University having this, organizing this, so again, thank you Shrilikala ma'am for taking all the efforts to bringing this opportunity to our university. Thank you everyone, and I wish this workshop a great success. Please have a very satisfying, very enjoyable time here in Pondicherry. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such an enlightening address. Now, it's my pleasure to invite Professor K.K. Saju, Vice Chancellor of Kannur University, Kerala, to deliver the inaugural address and share his valuable insight on the implementation of NEP 2020 and its impact on transforming teacher education. So, please.
Thank you for the in-kind invitation. President of this August gathering, Professor Rajneesh Bhutani, Registrar of the Pondicherry University in absentia of the Vice Chancellor, Professor Pranati Panda from NEP, Professor Madhumita Bandyopadhyay from NEP, Professor Srikala, Dean SOE of Pondicherry University, Professor Mumtaz Begum, other dignitaries on and off the dais, deans and other faculty members of the Pondicherry University, participants, senior faculty members from various institutions, students of the various departments, and of course the education department of PU. Ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to all of you. Let me at the outset tell you that I'm very happy to be here and having been invited for this particular consultative workshop organized by NEPA as well as PU. And at the outset, let me also congratulate Professor Srikala and Professor Pranati Panda for having organized a very important workshop in the scheme of things of today. After having listened to your talk, I thought I should be sitting there and taking note of things rather than, because I don't have anything else to tell, rather than congratulate all of you. But since it's an inaugural address and I have to tell something, so naturally I have to go about and do it. I basically have come from an industry. I was in NTPC from 93 to 99 and joined QSAT, Cochin University, in 99, and been there for 25 years, taken over as Vice Chancellor Kannur University in last year, June. And if you think that implementing NEP 2020 is just having 5-year integrated program or 4-year undergraduate program, then at QSAT we had done that in 2017, madam. So let us be very clear as to what NEP 2020 is. That is the first thing. So it's not implementing certain programs. There is a very, very root cause to NEP 2020. Somewhere down the line from a Vishwa Guru, which Bharat was at one point of time, long back, when he had universities like Nalanda and Takshashila, where people used to come here for education. From there, we have gone to a different culture where we have lost a lot of things. We have actually run over by the bus of the colonial rule. So we are actually recovering. And this might be a roadmap to our recovery on that front. That is what my belief on NEP 2020 is. Let me also reiterate that education actually does not hold a value unless it has value. So education without value is not education. So if you don't have that in your mind, then there is no point in educating people. And then all these intricacies of having the optional subjects, the double major, double minor, I think you will be deliberating and getting yourself acquainted to all the issues that we face when we implemented. We did implement around 9 programs last June in the Kannur University. Also around 15 programs we are coming out. So those are things which naturally has to be implemented. But what exactly is the role of people like you, me and others here as teachers as far as this particular policy is concerned? Please be very clear. This is the only generation which we call ourselves as millennials. And we are going to teach Generation Z. The only generation which is going to have knowledge about the values that were there, which was actually maybe inherited or actually informed or learned through our grandfathers, grandmothers, parents, or by our own. The only generation which is going to vanish after this, the new generation would never have any view about what has happened long back. So it's at most that this generation pass on knowledge on the moral values of what Bharat is, what our culture is, because day in and day out you can see unprecedented incidents which we cannot think about, where we have come to the new generation, on what basis are they working ahead, and what sort of values have we imparted to them. So this is the change that we have to implement, and we have to implement that change, and we are the people who can implement that change. So if it is not done by us, there's nobody else. After this generation vanishes, the generation X, Y, and Z cannot manage it. So we have a very important task ahead of us. So please be very clear about what our role is as far as NEP 2020 is concerned. So, and AI, because I've been teaching robotics for quite some time. AI is always artificial intelligence. So let us not be very, very, very overwhelmed by AI and let your natural intelligence be outdated or not used. See, your brain actually, it works better when you use it more. And you started not using the brain when you had autocorrect in your word. So once you had autocorrect, you want to go and correct all the spelling. So you started doing that long back. Now, if you ask somebody to write a sentence, it autocorrects. So you have become used to that. Now, suddenly, you find that there's so many diseases happening. There are so many lifestyle diseases, what you call lifestyle diseases. And you go to any doctor and say, and what is the reason that is given? It's lifestyle disease. So what has happened? You did not have any lifestyle diseases 20, 30 years back. So where have you deviated? Are you as teachers bound to tell people that this is how you have to live? Let alone forget about implementing minor, major and all those things. Those things will happen naturally. But you have a great responsibility to see that people don't lose their moral values and lose their traditional lifestyle. Because now it has come to an era. I saw an advertisement just recently, which was from Aster, a very important hospital there, which said, we have increased 100 beds in our hospital since you are not taking care of your health. Understand? So that is the scenario now. We are actually become victims of our, what you call, ignorance maybe. And who is responsible for the generation C to be ignorant? It is we ourselves. So we have pampered them to that extent that they are actually overly dependent on the parents and also others. So I would expect my daughter who is doing her PG in medicine to maybe ask me during a consultation, Father, I have a patient in front of me, so I am planning to give this medicine. What is your advice? So it has come to that level where they are totally dependent on somebody. They are independent. I cannot remember in my college days a teacher who has taught all the modules. We were quite capable of doing it by our own, by learning, and suddenly down the line you found that it is not teaching, it is learning. And then in 2002 we changed the focus from a teacher-centric the spotlight to student-centric. Now it's become teaching-learning process. So what is teaching-learning? Now you see NEP 2020, whatever is being implemented, please look at it at a student-centric point. Don't look at it as a teacher-centric. We have done that in Kannur University. There's been a lot of mistakes where, we have increased the workload of teachers because you get a lot of flexibility to share the workload. You get as teachers teaching one student, a teacher teaching two students. So that is not the focus of NEP 2020. It is a focus where students will be able to diversify. I call that long back in engineering. I used to tell them, people who have come to engineering or medicine by their parents' choice would sometimes find it very difficult. I said, you please think about it in this way. This is destiny for you. So there is a big thing, destiny. You have to be grounded and think about this as your destiny. Your passion might be music. Your passion might be something else. So your focus now should be your destiny because you have anyway landed here. Now if you think about only your passion, your focus will be going away. So you focus on you just focus on your destiny. That should be your focus. You are landed here, you focus on that, but keep your passion alive. That is how a teacher should approach the students' problems. So always passion and focus should go hand in hand. Now, fortunately, by 2020, the NEP has come out with such a formula that everything can be taken together. So that is the intricacies of NEP. So don't think that it is just that you can have so many subjects and all those things. What is it doing to the student? How you can see, get the student to be very well comfortable with this particular policy. That is what is more important than how to, implement this policy on a fast track basis. Now, our Honorable Registrar was telling about the fast pace, even Madam was telling, fast pace of life and everything changes. It is true that whatever you study in the first semester gets obsolete by the time you come out. That is true. But there is something even in this very, very fast pace which is not changed, will never change. That is our moral values. Please ensure that in spite of all this fast life that we have, the student is instilled with the basic moral values which they are losing day by day. And how do we do it? You do it by a systematic approach where, as recently somebody was telling that now you don't require a teacher. It's a chat GPT might take that role or something else might take it because of generative AI. But you see, there is something known as a human touch. And if you look at all the successful people, they will say, my mentor was so and so. It's not going to be a condition where you say, your mentor was this generative AI at any point of time. No, there is something known as a human touch. So please be that human touch in somebody's life. Otherwise, then you are not worthy as a teacher. Please keep that particular value, and also think about a very, very simple example. When I addressed Kannur University, which was not as good as my parent university, I just asked them, can you buck up your shoes and come out in such a manner that you will let your child come and study in this university? I understand most of your children are studying at VIT, they're studying in their LPU, whatever, NIT, IITs. Will you send your child to study here? So the teacher should be so capable or so adamant enough to instill that sort of an environment that you decide that your institute is the institute where your child can comfortably study. So please keep these values in mind. So I don't have further anything because the deliberation, I'm very sure across the 2 days will be addressing so many points which I am not an expert on, but I think they will be doing a very good job on all these things. Please keep this the consultative mechanisms, because the interactions come out with a lot of ideas. So you have got a policy and there will be so many nuances in the policies which you can just break down by consultative talks, constructive talks. I am sure that these 2 days will definitely help you in that line, because you are having a very, very major role in the future of the country. If you are going to be a developed country by 2047, the teachers, and I also reiterate, Madam, and also the registrar, that the skill development that we are talking about now, industry-ready students, we are actually looking at the wrong end. I've been telling that if you want industry-ready students, job-ready students with skill, you actually capacity build the teachers, because there is no point in capacity building students. They will just move out, and then whatever you have invested has gone out. You capacity build the teachers, you make them skill ready, just like what happens in medical education, where you have the continual medical education program, where the doctors, you don't go to a doctor. See, after 80 years, don't you go to a doctor? You go naturally. Why? He has skilled himself to be conversant with the latest tools, isn't it? So that is why. So you look at that aspect and always upskill, reskill yourself. Make use of all opportunities, and that is very important. When you say that a student has to learn, you also have to learn. It is your learning which is more important than the student's learning. Unless you have that skill, then you cannot impart it. So please, the world is in front of them. So whatever skills you impart, that comes with your experience, which are pearls of wisdom. So please don't forget your role as a teacher. And with these few words, I am very happy to have inaugurated this program, and also congratulate the conveners and organizers once more, and thank the Pondicherry University for having invited me. All the best to all the participants. Have a great time. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. Now, it's our privilege of hearing from the chairperson of this workshop. I invite Professor Madhumita Bandyopadhyay, Professor and Head, Department of School and Non-Formal Education, NEPA, New Delhi, to give the chairman's address. Ma'am, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is a great pleasure for me to be here and also to give this address to this August gathering. And first, I would like to thank everyone, all dignitaries like Honorable Professor K.K. Saju, Kannur University, then Professor Rajneesh Bhutani, Registrar, Pondicherry University, Professor Srikala, who is Dean of SOE of Pondicherry University, Professor Pranati Panda, our dear colleague and former head of School and Non-Formal Education Department, who is also directing this particular program, and Dr. N. Reddy, who is our team within the team member, and Dr. Amit Gautam, both of are from our School and Non-Formal Education Department. So, and all our students and all dear faculty colleagues who are here from different departments of Pondicherry universities and all other particular distinguished participants who have come to attend this particular workshop. So it is very unique opportunity for all of us to have this collaborative program, and I am really happy to be here for this collaborative workshop and consultative meet particularly. And so why it is consultative meet? Because we are going to consult and discuss about different nitty-gritties of the teacher education program, which is under at this moment according to NEP 2020 is a kind of under the process of transformation, as Professor Pranati Panda has said, and also our and the previous speaker has talked about the recovery of our past and glory, and we are recovering at this moment through and NEP 2020 is being able to help us in that direction. So what I would like to say that teacher education is very important area because it is a big concern not only in India but also it is a global issue, and it is in a kind of situation that teacher education and teacher management, all these aspects are very much integrated and very much related to each other, and we need not only to focus on teacher education but also teacher management and teacher at the same time the teaching practices are very important. So that's very also important aspect, and whenever we'll talk about the teacher education, we'll also talk about the innovative practices which different teachers are being able to implement in the classroom situation. So NEP document also has mentioned about access, 5 foundational pillars, which is access, equity, quality, affordability and accountability. These all have, teachers have pivotal role in implementing these 5 foundational pillars, because teachers are heart of this education system. They are like, as Professor said, that they are front runner of this system. So they are actual implementer at the grassroots level, all the NEP 2020 objectives and their recommendations. NEP 2020 also has talked about continuous professional development for teachers because of this, and whoever are working at different levels from the school level as well as higher education level, and it is also heartening to know that University of Pondicherry is implementing ITEP program, and we are really hopeful that it will help us transforming the teacher education program. So it is said that a good education can change anyone, and a good teacher can change everything. As all of us know that who are basically teachers or future teachers, we can say that actually are change makers, and because we are engaged in contributing to the changing process of education, and which Professor Pranati Panda has also mentioned in her inaugural introductory address, that citing our great thinker Sri Aurobindo, who is son of the soil of this particular place also, because although he might be from other state, but he is ashram is here, and Pondicherry is known for that. So, and he also had, great imagination about the teacher's role. He has very small booklet of how the teacher should be, teachers, about the teachers. So you can read that. It is very interesting to read that. And really, I am sure that, that through all of our active participation and also our active engagement in our discussion and deliberations, we'll be able to achieve the objectives of this particular workshop. And I am really thanks all of you. Sincere thanks to Pondicherry University for giving us this opportunity to collaborate with them and to conduct this program, and Professor Pranati Panda and Professor Srikala to to take us for that in that particular collaborative collaborative workshop. So, and our two other colleagues, Dr. Amit Gautam and Dr. Reddy, they are also here, and they will be also participating with other colleagues from other universities. Thank you so much with these words. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your thoughtful and encouraging remark. We have now reached the final part of this inaugural session. This is my great honor to invite Professor Mumtaz Begum from the School of Education, Pondicherry University, to deliver the vote of thanks and express our gratitude to everyone who has contributed to making this event possible. Ma'am, please.
Namaste, Namaskar, Pranams, good afternoon, Assalamu Alaikum. Because we are pan-India over here, no food will be tasty if there is a pinch of salt, without a pinch of salt. Similarly, no program will be seeing its limelight until there is a sense of gratitude, for which purpose I am here before you. First of all, I must thank God Almighty for making this event a successful one, because we have seen the forerunner now, how the inaugural function has been conducted. In spite of the other central universities being consulted, we have been given the chance. So thanks to, first of all, to God Almighty. Next, to our university authorities. They had courage and strength in us, because School of Education, since its inception in the year 2007, we have been conducting as many programs as possible in the deliverance of good practices towards teacher education. Renowned university. First I used to say it's down south. No, we are not from down south. We are not from extreme south. We are from the rich south. And that's how our Pondicherry University, along with other departments, a competitor for the other institutions across the country. If I am saying our university, it is the best thanks to our Vice Chancellor, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor Tannikarasu, because this was taught before 2 months ago when there was a consultative meeting in our staff council where Professor Srikala, the present dean, she exhibited our heartfelt thanks, because choosing our department, and the bigger responsibility is lying with us, so we have to work upon that, and that's how we started and we are going on with this program. So Professor Tannikarasu, a man of words, I should say. I will not say it simply a man of like a person who just gives the word and go away, because we have been seeing him, a renowned scientist, and though not here, he is a man to be appreciated behind the screen. So the other representative is Professor Rajneesh Bhutani, the dynamic registrar of Pondicherry University, I should say. He will rise up to any occasion. Sir, I would like to say we are doing our best for the implementation of or reformation or renovation practices in teacher education. Hope you had acknowledged that. And if at all, if you were saying artificial intelligence, it's only artificial, but we are doing the reality. We are seeing the real masters by creating all the teacher educators from our side, and they are you could see many teachers who have gone from our department in the renowned institutes from Northeast or anywhere, any part of the country. That's how our real intelligence has worked upon. So my heartfelt thanks to both of them, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Honorable Registrar, and the other authorities of the university. Next, I should thank Professor Pranati Panda because I visited that former, it was NUPA, under the chairmanship of Professor Ved Prakash when he was the Vice Chancellor. He invited us. That time I was working for the government of Tamil Nadu, where we had a very wonderful session on special education, inclusive education and whatnot. So from that time onwards, I've been associated with NEPA, and they have been doing the yeoman job. It is though it's a national counterpart, they've been doing regional wise because they want to strengthen teacher education across all the states of the country, and that's how Professor Pranati Panda along with the team members, Dr. Bandabhatyaya, Dr. Amrit and Dr. Reddy, they have come all the way from Delhi to this soil. It's a wonderful soil, as you said, the soil of Aurobindo. It's a soil of many multicultural people, even Kavi Subramanya Bharati, Mahakavi from Tamil Nadu, who have been here and they have enriched this soil. Thank you, ma'am, for entire work that have been cooperated along with our Dean School of Education. Next, I have to thank all the participants over here, especially my counterparts from Tamil Nadu and as well as from other parts of the country. They have come here to give their views upon how we can transform teacher education in the next 1.5 days, because we started in the morning and we are now ending up in the afternoon. The next 1.5 days we are going to see how much we would be beneficial. It's like from educability to trainability and employability. That's how our teacher education courses are framed. When I have to just say few words about NEP 2020, there was a pre-runner before NEP 2020. It was a 68 policy, 86 policy, 92 program of action, and after 34 years, this policy had come. So the people who have been very thoughtful in coming out with this policy, we should really give a big salute to them. I know that I have left out Professor Saju, the Vice Chancellor of Kannur University, but I must say that something I want to add to his speech. The moral values, the ethical values, it seemed to be a little eroding, but still we are trying to pack up with so much of additional values so that they will never erode out of our country. We can be the forerunners. We can promise on behalf of our teacher education family over here, Professor Saju sir, there is BE, B.Ed also that we are contemplating on, and by means of integration of the teacher education program with other science and arts courses, we can see that it's like catching them very young. After the school education, probably the candidates will have a choice to go for teacher education. It's not out of compulsion, it's not out of just an opportunity, it's by their choices they have come here. For the past 2 years we have been conducting this ITIP program. We could see the younger minds when we just asked them why you have chosen Pondicherry University, why you have taken up this ITIP. They only say that yes, we are committed to this course. That's how the course has been designed, and that's how we are also committed to carry forward the initiatives that have been just charted out by means of NEP 2020. I hope that because now we are in 25, and but the years to come, they may have different scenario altogether, and hopefully it is to see for the betterment or the advancement of the country. So I'm thankful to Professor Saju sir for having here, sparing all his valuable time to be here from Kannur. Thank you very much, Professor. I'm thankful to all my counterparts here, the affiliated colleges, those who have come in good number, because they are the ones to exhibit their talents to the teacher education graduates by means of their B.Ed program, and they are in close association with us. And if I am not, I cannot quote here and there, but all the colleges are noteworthy over here. And if I have to mention my colleagues over here, Professor Chellamani, Professor Balmurugan, Professors Vijay Kumar and Devender, they were working day and night for this program to be implemented, exactly speaking. We have seen the implementation now itself, and not only we, the other 6 ITEP faculty, the Integrated Teacher Education Program faculty, they have been the real source of strength or pillar strength to us for conducting this program. But for their support, nothing could have been possible. Thank you, all the faculty of School of Education, including the ITEP faculty. I am thanking all my MH students from the first year, second year, and the PhD scholars, and the ITEP students, because they are outnumbering all of us. That is, for putting together the 2 years, they make it up as 200. I should say very proudly that ours is the university who have started 6 major subjects to be implemented for ITEP. Even if you go to Central University of Tamil Nadu, they are conducting for 1 subject. If you go to Kasaragod, they are conducting for 2 or 3 subjects. So we are the ones who have started very boldly. We are really bold. And thanks to my pre-runner, Professor Chellamani, during her period, it took over. But before that, we were also working upon that. So thank you all. And I must thank the authorities of this convention center for giving us for 2 days to conduct this program. And all others, those if I have left out, it's not by intention, but by means of I should say, that is, you are all included as a family together for making this program a grand success. Thank you one and all for present here. Thank you for the opportunity.